Right now, on To the Point.
So I was sitting on the couch and I felt the ground starting to move.
From the coast to the Sacramento Valley.
2 whole minutes, so the anxiety was just like, when is it gonna stop?
A 7.0 magnitude earthquake shaking homes, businesses, and pools. Our earthquake warning system put to the test.
Intensity levels of shaking as high as intensity 8.
Tonight, communities dealing with damage. Plus, the Butte County school shooting, what we now know about 2 kindergartners shot. And a man just sentenced in Placer County's first fentanyl murder trial, why he might never be released from prison.
We do this so you don't have to bury your child as I did.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us on To the Point. I'm Becca Habiger. We begin tonight with the aftermath of a major earthquake in Northern California causing tsunami warnings. The 7.0 magnitude quake struck at 10:44 a.m. off the Northern California coast near Eureka. People felt the ground shake here in Sacramento and as far south as San Francisco, more than 200 miles from the epicenter. People in cities along the coast in California and Oregon were urged to evacuate inland due to the threat of a possible tsunami. Now, that warning was eventually lifted. And this is video showing just some of the damage in Humboldt County. We have team coverage tonight breaking down the impacts. Let's start with meteorologist Carly Gomez. Carly, we've seen a lot of aftershocks today.
Yeah, that's right. As much as over 60 aftershocks, with the last one just coming in 2 minutes ago at 2.5. They have ranged anywhere from 2.5 to about 4.7 in magnitude after that initial 7.0 struck at 10:44. Now, that tsunami warning was issued at the time that it struck and was quickly lifted at 11:58, so just over an hour after it was being issued. Now, I want to show you the fault lines here. This is the Mendocino fracture zone. Very commonplace to see a lot of those earthquakes taking place, but it's also joined next to that Juan de Fuca plate just to the north. You have a plate just to the south here in the San Andreas Fault. So all three combined there bring you to this point, the Mendocino Triple Junction. So, of course, seismologists, geologists, everyone is concerned about all of these buckled up together and up next to each other in terms of wondering whether or not we're going to see a big tsunami. With the 7.0, you can't put that out of the question. Here's the previous areas of concern we saw today, just near Santa Cruz Mountains, off the coastline there, all the way up to San Francisco, and then along the coastline up to the southern Oregon coastline. So spanning a massive area there. And then, of course, that was lifted. But the California inundation map really showing areas, I should say, inland as much as the Delta spots, of course, because we have those flows and rivers of the Delta that move out toward the ocean. So we saw big concerns today for those areas. Of course, that tsunami warning was canceled.
And Carly, thank you. You know, Governor Gavin Newsom issued an emergency proclamation following the earthquake. ABC 10's Garjpal Sangha joins us from Cal OES with how that will help support hard-hit areas. Garjpal?
Yeah, I'm back on Cal OES, helping coordinate the information and also recovery efforts between the state and local first responders in those areas that have been impacted. They want to try to speed up those recovery efforts, but as the governor declaring that state of emergencies for counties like Del Norte, Humboldt, and Mendocino, and the state resources are being sent in to help those affected areas by the quake and those affected by the quake, directing state agencies to deploy personnel, equipment, and facilities. And this will help local authorities manage the immediate aftermath and begin recovery operations. And this is what the governor had to say at a news conference today in Southern California.
It's another reminder of the state that we live in and the state of mind that we need to bring to our day-to-day reality here in the state of California in terms of being prepared for earthquakes. But early damage assessments are being made. We don't have any additional information at this time, but our teams are working collaboratively with the teams on the ground.
And the governor has authorized CalGuard to assist with disaster relief. And with the proclamation, it also opens up fairgrounds and also state properties to act as shelter to help those that have been impacted by this disaster. Reporting live from the Cal OES headquarters in Mather, Garjpal Sangha, ABC 10.
And Garjpal, thank you. Humboldt County is among the areas hardest hit by the shaking. I spoke with people throughout the day cleaning up damage and preparing for the possibility of more aftershocks.
All right,
Here's Valley Grocery. I've seen it worse.
This was the scene late Thursday morning in the Humboldt County community of Ferndale, California. Video taken by Caroline Titus, who has lived here for more than 30 years.
I realized, okay, this is a serious one. Immediately ran outside, saw my little Honda Fit jumping up and down in the driveway. Heard things falling, crashing.
She lives on Ferndale's historic Main Street, and first thing she did was check on her grandkid, then her neighbors.
Just a lot of mess, a lot of storekeepers having to clean up and put everything back on the shelf. We live across the street from the Victorian Inn. They have these huge entry doors. One of them fell off its hinges. Obviously, all the bottles in the bar were down.
40 miles south in Shelter Cove, the third-generation owner of Shelter Cove General Store spoke with us by phone.
This was definitely the biggest one we've seen in quite some time.
While no one was injured, there was plenty of mess.
There was a lot of damage. I couldn't even tell you how much worse, but about every aisle was wiped out and messes everywhere you turned. It was a disaster.
She and her team were able to clean up and reopen the store in less than 2 hours. Farther north in Arcata,
I'm kind of used to earthquakes happening around here, but this one felt a little bit special, a little bit big.
Daniel Burrell left his home trying to get to safety outside.
I felt like I was intoxicated. The whole ground was moving, right? And then the cars, unbelievably, were shaking like there was someone grabbing the top of them and moving them back and forth.
He says he discovered new cracks in his home after Thursday's earthquake.
For something of this magnitude, we're not finding anything. And talking with the sheriff just now, he is not declaring a state of emergency up here because the damages at this point don't warrant it.
Humboldt County Supervisor Rex Bone says with no immediate reports of injuries or major damage as of Thursday afternoon,
things are looking very positive for us.
California's earthquake early warning system was put to the test today, and scientists are telling ABC 10 it did exactly what it was supposed to do. ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen explains how the system Shake Alert works, including detecting an earthquake's strength.
On Thursday morning, many people got this alert on their phones.
The alert did go out to people throughout Northern California and Oregon. Again, worked exactly as it should have done.
Dr. Angie Lux works with UC Berkeley's seismology lab and is a scientist with the Earthquake Early Warning System. Also known as Shake Alert, the My Shake app takes information from Shake Alert to notify millions of people in California, Oregon, and Washington.
The Earthquake Early Warning System was triggered for this earthquake. It did a great job. It worked exactly as it should have done. It estimated the maximum magnitude at magnitude 6.9, which is absolutely spot on as far as earthquake early warning is concerned.
The USGS says Shake Alert detected a strong one.
Intensity levels of shaking as high as intensity 8 were estimated by the Shake Alert system.
Shake Alert is designed to quickly detect earthquakes and alert people possibly seconds before they can feel it. Dr. Lux says an earthquake's strength is calculated from the energy released, and while the value doesn't actually change, people can see different calculations once it's analyzed.
The way that we calculate it can sometimes change, at least initially, whether the computers calculate it initially, and then a human will go in and review the solution, and then it might get tweaked a little bit.
Overall, Dr. Lux says this system is in place to warn people and give an advance notice. In Thursday's case, it did just that.
Download My Shake, and that way you can get warning in advance of any earthquakes that we estimate to be magnitude 4.5 or larger.
In Sacramento, Jeannie Nguyen, ABC 10.
Now, following today's earthquake, posts on social media are showing Santa Cruz damaged by a tsunami, but we can verify these videos are old. Take a look. Today we went through the ABC 10 archive to show you what happens in Santa Cruz back in 2011. Santa Cruz was damaged by a March 11th, 2011 tsunami caused by a massive earthquake near eastern Japan. The waves near Japan traveled across the Pacific Ocean, impacting many coastal communities in California, including Santa Cruz. This 2011 tsunami killed 2 people in Santa Cruz. Damage exceeded $100 million. So we can verify, no, videos on the internet showing a damaged Santa Cruz are not from today. Again, this video is from 2011. For more information about the earthquake and tsunami warnings, head over to ABC 10 Plus. Our meteorologists explain the impacts in Sacramento and Northern California. Just look for earthquake on the home screen. The app is free wherever you get your streaming apps. Still ahead on To The Point, the Butte County school shooting. What we're learning tonight about the kindergartners hurt and the gunman. Plus, new details in the beating death of Sacramento native Tyree Nichols. What a new report is revealing about the police department involved. ABC 10 meteorologist Carly Gomez joins us. Carly, it's going to be a foggy night, I understand.
Yeah, it is. We're looking at still cold temperatures out there. And for people who are coming into town for the California International Marathon this weekend, we're going to continue to feel with these temperatures in the upper 30s to low 40s for actually pretty much the next week. We'll continue to feel these very similar temperatures in the valley. And that means if you are running or even just spectating for Sunday's California International Marathon, you will be feeling some of these colder temperatures in the mid to low 40s at the start of the race. Now, up in the foothills and the high Sierra spots, we're going to be looking at temperatures down even into those teens. Now, we're seeing a high pressure system overhead keeping us clear for now, but the fog formation will develop into the early morning hours. We do have two lows out there that will help bring in some strong winds for us from Sunday to Monday. But for now, the fog formation expected to happen with those clear skies currently and cold temperatures. Now, we get into the early morning hours, we start seeing that development as much as 3 to 4 miles in visibility from Turlock to Lodi, 3 miles almost there in Stockton, and even Sacramento, 2.2. But we start dropping down by around 6 to 7 a.m. Notice that we're seeing about 1/3 of a mile in visibility and really spanning from a lot of the rural area spots off 99 all the way up into Sacramento and areas around the airport. So make sure you are catching your flight details just in case your flight may get delayed because of some of that fog. All right, let's talk about those winds picking up for us on Sunday. We're going to first start to see a little bit of them coming in from the northwest here around 8:30 a.m., mostly coastal range spots. It's about 15-mile-per-hour winds by the afternoon hours, but from Folsom down into areas in the capital of Sacramento, we should see about 5 to 10-mile-per-hour winds during the race, so nothing too big to worry about for that race time hour. All right, temperatures in the foothill spots, those mid-60s, but our 10-day forecast really going to show temperatures in the valley in the low 60s to low 40s overnight, and we'll continue a trend with upper 50s and low 60s through next week.
Carly, thank you. Well, next on To The Point, the latest on the Butte County school shooting, what we are learning tonight about the 2 boys shot and the shooter. Plus, Governor Newsom at the border, what he wants to do to support trade with Mexico. New tonight, we now know the names of the 2 kindergartners who are in the hospital in critical condition following a shooting at the Feather River School of Seventh-day Adventists in Palermo near Oroville. 6-year-old Roman Mendez and 5-year-old Elias Wolford are both still in the hospital tonight in critical condition. Investigators say Mendez was shot twice and has internal injuries. Wolford was shot once in the stomach and also has internal injuries. Both kindergartners will likely have to have a number of surgeries to recover. Now, the man investigators say shot the boys is 56-year-old Glenn Litton. They say he was homeless and spent his time between Sacramento and Chico. They say he had a lengthy criminal history involving theft, fraud, and forgery dating back to the 1990s. He also had severe mental health issues. Butte County Sheriff Corey Honey said they found a note on him after he turned the gun on himself. They say he believed that Seventh-day Adventists involved in the genocide and oppression of Palestinians, as well as the U.S. attack on Yemen. Investigators say Litton made it onto campus after booking an appointment with the school.
As it turns out, that was all a lie. His daughter had not moved to Gridley, and he did not have a grandson. So it appears to us that that story was a ruse to set up an appointment so that he could gain access to the campus.
Honey also said Litton attended the Paradise Seventh-day Adventist School when he was a kid. If you have any information you would like to share about the suspect, you're asked to call the Butte County Sheriff's Office. Well, Placer County's first jury trial murder conviction of a fentanyl dealer has ended with Carson Shuey sentenced to 20 years to life in prison. Now, this is a first in our region. ABC 10's Devin Truby has been covering this case for more than 2 years now and is hearing from the victim's family tonight.
Cade made history today, just not the way he would have wanted to.
The first murder conviction by a jury in a fentanyl case in the region. This is the moment Carson Shuey was sentenced Thursday to 20 years to life in prison for second-degree murder and possession. Exactly 3 years and 2 days ago, Shuey sold Cade Webb a pill laced with fentanyl that ended up killing him. While no audio was allowed in the courtroom, the judge said to the family and loved ones of Cade, "I cannot provide true justice."
It's just an unbearable pain. When you feel like heartbreak, when you hear people talk about heartbreak, I really knew what that definition means by that when I'm just trying to process, and hopefully now I can move forward and process.
Webb's father, mother, and sisters gave victim impact statements in court, words that brought tears to the courtroom. Cade's mother sharing how the loss of her son feels like its own life sentence.
There isn't a day, 5-6 days a week, that I don't pass Cade on that Newcastle exit that I don't think about the fact that my son is in the ground there.
The family trying to move on for the daughter Cade never got to meet. For Cade's cousin, San Francisco Giants pitcher Logan Webb,
I was actually preparing for the happiest day of my life. I was getting married 2 days later. Sorry. But with my family's blessing, I got married. Then a couple days later, I was a pallbearer for my cousin.
he doesn't want to see anyone else's family go through this.
We're going to be creating a foundation here soon based on fentanyl awareness and mental health. And, the Giants have been a huge help. They're going to help us a ton. It's going to be my whole family, and it's something that's really important to us.
At the press conference, other families in Placer County clung to photos of their children also lost in the fentanyl epidemic, which is why Webb's family is continuing to help with One Pill Can Kill Placer program and more.
We do this so you don't have to bury your child as I did.
Cade, he loved everybody, and he'd want to save lives, so that's what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Reporting in Placer County, Devin Truby, ABC 10.
Shuey submitted no statement, nor did he speak at sentencing. The Department of Corrections took him into custody. He now has 60 days to file an appeal. The defense did ask for a new trial, and that was denied. Well, we're learning more tonight about the investigation into the beating death of Tyree Nichols. Nichols was from Sacramento and died 3 days after a traffic stop by Memphis police in 2023. Nichols was stopped by officers in the Memphis Police Scorpion Unit, which was disbanded after Nichols' death. Officers pepper sprayed, beat, and tased Nichols at 2 different locations. 5 officers involved were later fired and charged with crimes. An investigation by the Department of Justice found the Memphis Police Department used excessive force and discriminates against black people in that majority black city.
The Justice Department has found a pattern or practice of conduct that violates people's civil and constitutional rights.
The DOJ also asked the city of Memphis to agree in principle to negotiate a consent decree aimed at improving police and emergency services, but city officials are resisting it.
We didn't believe that entering into any agreement in principle or consent decree right now, before even thoroughly reading the DOJ report, would be in the best interest of our community. It's crucial that the city has the time to do a thorough review and respond to the findings before agreeing to anything that could become a long-term financial burden to our residents and could, in fact, actually slow down our ongoing efforts to continuously improve our police department.
The DOJ could take the city to federal court to enforce the consent decree. Turning now to the Trump transition and crisis at the southern border. Governor Gavin Newsom visited Otay Mesa today, announcing construction at the California-Mexico border. Steve Price from our sister station in San Diego has more on what was just proposed.
Don't think for a second this won't impact you.
Governor Newsom says President-elect Trump's plans to impose 25% tariffs on goods from Mexico won't just affect us here in California, but everyone across the country.
Small businesses that will lose customers, jobs that will be lost, the inflationary impacts on every single one of you.
Newsom came to the border to give an update on the Otay Mesa East port of entry, which has been talked about for years, but nothing has been done. He says working with Homeland Security, a design contract will be formalized by the end of December.
That will allow us to move forward in January on this multi-year project that we hope to complete by December of 2027.
The new crossing should lighten the load at other ports of entry. Local leaders say the region loses about $2 billion annually in economic output due to border wait times, and he expects the incoming administration to support the project moving forward.
It's in the interest of the American people. It's the interest of this region, interest of this state, but it's the interest of the U.S. economy, absolutely.
Newsom also announced that he's increasing the number of National Guard at the border, not just to stop drugs from coming into our country, but also to monitor the flow moving south.
A big part of what happens on the other side of the border as it relates to violence is happening with American-made weapons.
And Newsom also touched on Trump's calls for mass deportations. He says California will not interfere in the federal government's right to enforce federal law using federal resources. Now stay with us. We're back after this short break. Well, that's our show tonight. Thanks so much for watching and inviting us into your home. To the Point doesn't end here. To watch stories featured on the show, download our free ABC 10 Plus app wherever you stream.
Hey, it's Alex. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. The To The Point team and I love hearing from you, and I hope that you'll stay in touch. And don't forget, you can always email me and the team at tothepoint@abc10.com, or you can even send us a text message at 916-321-3310.
Thanks for watching ABC 10 Plus. And now that you're here, why don't we take a look around and see what else is here? The very first tile on your left is always going to be streaming 24/7. You can find us adjacent to that, breaking news if it's there. And then right next to that, a replay of the most recent newscast. Whether it's ABC 10 Morning News at 5, 6, or beyond, it's going to be there. The forecast beyond that, and then right beyond that, the news that matters the most. Now that you know the basic tiles, let's go up to the top and take a deeper dive into news. We have every single newscast that you would need, including To The Point with Alex Bell, taking a deeper dive into the issues. Beyond that, ABC 10 Morning News at 5 and 6 and 11, the evening shows as well. Below that, you can watch the top stories from To The Point. Under that, Dollars and Cents, where you can learn how to navigate this challenging economy. And below that, you can watch our award-winning ABC 10 Special Investigations, where we hold the powerful accountable. Going into weather, look, it's the 10-day forecast, getting you ready for the weekend and beyond. Beyond that, sports. I know you care about the Sacramento Kings. We have the most comprehensive guide to anything, everything Kings in the locker room and on the court. We have it. Below that, I know you care about the San Francisco 49ers. We can't mention Bay Sports without talking about the Oakland A's. We have that too. What's super exciting, I know you care about high school sports. You'll never find a more comprehensive guide and team dedicated to high school sports. Backing out again, come up to the top and join me on Verify. I'm super excited about this. Our experts are checking the facts, verifying the truth for you. Jump up now to shows. Very excited about this. Oh, look, it's Take a Look. This is my show. I love movies, and if you love movies or streaming shows, whether it's on screens this big, or this big, it's Take a Look. Recently went behind the scenes, sat down with Lady Gaga and Joaquin Phoenix to talk about Joker 2. I love the movie, and oh, I just heard you shout you hate the movie. Jump in, we talk about it on this show. Other shows, Bartell's Backroads, go up and down the state of California, tank of gas getaways, one fuel cell getaway, like places like the Toy Museum. This is what kids did before they had screens. Over here, the Moaning Caverns of Calaveras County, one of the most coveted caves in all of California. You know, watching this show, I discovered there's a cave that could fit the entire Statue of Liberty in your own backyard. You'll find about that and more with Bartell's Backroads. Down below that, To The Point. It is one of my favorite newscasts because they talk about news with Alex Bell the way you talk about news. It's conversational, but in-depth at the same time. Below that, Your California Life. Love this show. Whether it's entertainment, food, beverage, lifestyle, it's there. Desiree Shepherd hosts and does an amazing job. So there you have it. It's ABC 10 Plus, the app. What do you need? We heard you and we got it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for streaming.